Hello, this is Mr. Collier, and today we're going to learn how to find the standard deviation using our graphing calculator. So we're going to take a look at this example here. First thing we'll do is find the mean. To find the mean, we're going to add up all the scores. So we're going to get the sum of all the x values, all the data values, and divide by n, which in this case equals 9, the number of data values. Okay, so I could do that by hand, or I could use my graphing calculator. I've already got the data entered into stat edit, and then my data is in list 1. So then I can go to stat, go over to calc, and go to one variable statistics, and it calculates the, if I go to second function L1 here, I can calculate the statistics for that. So that's the mean is going to be 5. So the mean is 5. And what we do to calculate standard deviation, we're going to do it by hand and show it with the calculator. But I'm going to subtract the mean from each data value. That's what that means. So I'm going to have -1. So I'm subtracting 5 from each of these values. 4 minus 5 is -1. Then we have 0. Then we have 1. Then we have 2. Then we have -3, 3, 1, 0, -3. Then I'm going to square these values, so this should all come out positive. 1, 0, 1, 4, so that's 9. 3 squared is 9, 9, 1, 0, 9. And this total is going to be 34. Okay, and what this is telling us here for the variance is you get each of the data values, subtract the mean, then square it, and then you add them all up. Well, that's what we just did right here, right? So this thing is equal to the sum of these, right, squared. And so to calculate this, we basically do 34 divided by 9. And to get the standard deviation, we do root 34 out of 9. Okay, so I'm going to do that here and then show how the calculator can calculate that automatically. So 34 divided by 9 is about 3.78, so the variance is approximately 3.78, and the standard deviation is going to be the square root of that number that we just got, which is about 1.94. Okay, so let's take a look at the graphing calculator. Go to stats, go to calc, one variable statistics, L1, and now we have all those statistics. Now right down here, this symbol here is small sigma. So that is the standard deviation that we're looking for. That's 1.94. So your calculator can calculate that automatically for you as well. Okay, so now we're going to look at how to do the standard deviation, the mean in grouped data. Okay, so we've got frequencies here, and we've got number of days. So we've got 7 students bring their lunch 1 day a week, 10 students 2 days a week, and so forth. We could calculate all this by hand and multiply the frequency by number of days and add them up, but that would kind of take forever. We can actually just type that into our calculator. The stats and edit, and I've got this data in L2 and L3. So in L2, I've got the number of days, and in L3, I've got the frequency. So what we can do now is we can go to stat, go over to calc, and one variable statistics, and I'm going to use L2 and L3. So I need to go to L2, comma, L3, and we'll take L3 as being the frequencies and do all the math for us. Press enter, and there we go. We get a mean of 2.2 and a standard deviation of 1.22. So this is going to be 2.2 and standard deviation, which, well, looks like this on our calculator. The sigma sign is 1.22. Okay, so let's take a look at another example here. We've got we've got pulse rates of men and women, so we need to type that into our calculator first. So now I've got all my data typed into list 4 and list 5. So the men are in list 4, the women are in list 5. I've got to find the mean and standard deviation, so I'm going to do stat, go over to calc, enter, and I'm going to use list 4 for the men. Press enter, and the mean is 71.4. So for the men, the mean is 71.4. And then standard deviation is which equals sigma, is 6.77. Okay, now for the women, which are in list 5, I'm going to go to stat, go over to calc, one variable statistics on L5, and enter. So we have 77.5, and standard deviation is 6.96. Okay, so notice that the standard deviations are pretty similar. Okay, that means they pretty much vary about the same amount, but the mean is higher for the women. So the women have a higher average pulse rate, and you can say something like the spread of the data or the pulse rates is the same for men and women. Okay, let's take a look at the next example. So the mean and standard deviation are already calculated for an English and math exam. So we have 59 as the mean for English and 8 is standard deviation. So for English, we have a higher standard deviation, so the grades have varied a lot more for the English exam than the math exam. Okay, so which of the following results is better for each student? Give reasons. Alright, so now this person, Gabriel, on the math test scored a 71. So this is like within, you can say this is within one standard deviation. And the English score is also within one standard deviation. Alright, so that's an okay result, is within one standard deviation. And if we look at Teresa got a math score of 83. So that is, well, if we do 83 minus 65, that's going to give you 18. So that's 3 standard deviations. Okay, so you get 3 standard deviations above mean. And for the English score, she got 83. Oops. She got 83 minus 65. Sorry, 83 minus 59, which is 24. So that is also 3 standard deviations above the mean. Okay, so in both cases, Teresa did a lot better on the test. She got 3 standard deviations above the mean, and whereas Gabriel only got 1 standard deviation above the mean.